Colleagues, welcome to the retirement celebration for Captain Robert Tosatto, United States Public Health Service. My name is Captain Greg Davis, and I will be your Master of Ceremony for this evening's event. I'm joined by Admiral Retired Boris Lushniak, Presiding Officer, and Rear Admiral Pamela Schweitzer, Chief Pharmacy Officer, and of course our guest of honor. Retirement ceremonies are a time-honored tradition that formally recognize and celebrate an individual's career and service to our country. Today, we honor Captain Robert Tosatto for his distinguished career in the Commissioned Corps of the United States Public Health Service, a career highlighted by outstanding achievement, honor, and unwavering devotion to duty. This evening is a celebration of Captain Tosatto and the nearly 3 decades he has spent in uniform, protecting, promoting, and advancing the health and safety of this country. Tonight also highlights the breadth of his service, from his several tours with the Indian Health Service, first as a student and then as a clinical pharmacist on the Navajo, Fort Hall, and Pine Ridge reservations, his assignments with the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the HHS Office of Global Health Affairs, and since 2003, his service as the Director of the Medical Reserve Corps program. Throughout his career, Captain Tosatto has served as senior leader, counselor, mentor, colleague, and friend to everyone here in the audience. Fellow officers, attention on deck. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Surgeon General's Honor Guard, the singing of the National Anthem and the Public Health Service March, and the invocation by Mr. Tom Lawrence, Rhode Island Medical Reserve Corps. Please join in singing both the National Anthem and the PHS March. The lyrics to both songs are printed in today's program. Honor Guard, advance the colors.
Colors, attention, forward, march. Colors, halt, left, face, present, arms.
Early light, what so proudly we hail, as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rippling, the bumpers singing air, gave through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arms.
C for humanity, a public health service team.
Honor guard, retire the colors.
Ready, step.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by Mr. Tom Lawrence.
So when I was asked to deliver the invocation for this important occasion, I did what most of you might do, look up the word invocation. So Webster says it's the action of referring to someone or something in support of your ideas and asking for help. So I suggest to you that there's a little bit of our friend Rob Tosatto in all of us. The really good parts. The part that's always kind, always available to help, always with a welcoming smile, and always someone who makes you feel better after spending time with them. So my invitation is this. From this day forward, especially when you're making difficult decisions, summon that Rob spark from within to make you a better person, more kind, more welcoming, and a little less selfless. And as Rob leaves the public health service for a well-deserved adventure with Christy, we all must need to step up and fill the huge gap that he leaves. But be assured that he'll be back because it's in his nature to serve the public, whether in uniform or not. Please enjoy the evening and find that little bit of Rob Tosatto inside yourself and all of us. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now be seated. We are honored to have all of you here in attendance today, and thank you very much for taking the time to be here to celebrate Captain Tosatto's career, accomplishments, and his retirement this evening. It is now my pleasure to introduce Rear Admiral Pamela Schweitzer, Chief Pharmacist Officer of the United States Public Health Service. As Chief Pharmacist Officer, Admiral Schweitzer is responsible for providing leadership and coordination of PHS pharmacy programs and professional affairs for the Office of the Surgeon General and the Department of Health and Human Services. Ma'am.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here today and to celebrate Rob Tosatto and Christy, because both of you have been a team. And I'm going to share a little bit of words about Rob right now because for most of us, we all knew him at some point in our career. We met him and we see a slice of him. But I'm going to sort of give you in the next few minutes sort of an overview because he has accomplished more than any officer I've ever met. And it's very, very impressive, his career, and it's really an honor, I know, for all of us to be able to be here with him to kind of send him off. And I met him, and I'll just tell a little bit. We were talking earlier, right when I got here, that I know it's not the end for us because we have the same circle of friends. We both started around the same time, and we have these good friends that are like forever friends that I know that will cross paths again because we've already done it over the course of our career. And I was really fortunate to meet him probably when you were working at headquarters with Admiral Church. And at that time, Admiral Church, you were the CPO at the time, right? So it's interesting, Admiral Church is the one that brought me in as I was his first pharmacist recruit, and then just shortly after, probably within that same year, you were the COSEC. So we both started around the same time. So isn't that kind of amazing? It's like a small world. So anyway, I have a couple things. I'm going to sort of read it here because I don't want to mess anything up. Just a second. Okay, and I know he's really happy to have everybody here today. And it's good to see Christy and your son, and I think you have 3 children that are busy or off and doing something else. So anyway, you've been...
Their adventures.
They're where?
They're having their adventures.
They're having adventures. Okay, right. So anyway, you're the inspiration. You're the reason why we're all here today. And you've had about 25 years of service in here, and you've touched all of us throughout your career. And we met in 1989, and did I take you up for a plane ride?
You did.
I took him up for a plane ride, and I think later on you pursued that a little bit. And Anyway, one of the things that he single-handedly did is develop the Medical Reserve Corps, and he's going to go down in history for that, and you'll hear a little bit more of that in a minute. He received his pharmacy degree from the University of Pittsburgh, and he had a master's of public health and a master's in business administration from the University of Alabama in Birmingham. He's been an officer basically in the Coast Up since, was it 1988 that you came, 1989? And his career started there, and then he went on and became a Coast Up at Gallup Indian Medical Center in New Mexico. He completed a pharmacy residency at Tuba City, and then he worked as a staff pharmacist at Fort Hall, Idaho. So for those of us, he's like the ideal officer. He went and worked in all these really remote, hard, really difficult, challenging sites. Then you were the chief pharmacist in Wombly, which is in South Dakota, which is out in the middle of nowhere. And then he transferred to Washington, D.C., worked in a variety of positions, where one of them was St. Elizabeth Hospital there. And total, over the course of his career, he had 10 progressive assignment changes, 7 geographic moves with 8 programmatic moves. That's impressive. And in his current role in the Medical Reserve Corps that he had before he's retired here, he ended up, he's basically what happened is he engaged volunteers to strengthen public health, improve emergency response, and build community resiliency to prepare for natural disasters like wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, and floods, as well as other emergencies affecting public health, such as disease outbreaks. And I can tell you in my travels in the past few years as I go around the country and I run into people that know about it, it makes me so proud to know that this guy here led all of this and the excitement that you see in communities because of his work. So he did this for 13 years, or is it 13 or 14? 13 plus. 13 plus, and he guided the program with phenomenal expansion. He started with 42 struggling MRC units with a few volunteers to its current state of over 1,000 MRC units across the country and more than 205,000 volunteers. Isn't that impressive? Give him a hand for that. He's been a strong advocate for reducing disaster risk, building community resilience, and engaging young members in our society in these efforts. And he's directly responsible for overseeing the establishment, implementation, and coordination of all these units nationwide. He also, in this role, he also was he's IT savvy here. What he did is he developed a sophisticated MRC unit profile system and database and assured data currency, accuracy through incentives and assessments. He also planned and led an implementation of a GIS component to the profile system. And then he negotiated several strategic partnerships with the American Red Cross, the Society of Disaster Medicine, Public Health, and other national organizations. So he's presented over 400 presentations in uniform in international, national, state, and local levels. He's been deployed on numerous occasions, including response missions following anthrax in 2001, Hurricane Katrina, several humanitarian and national special security events, and he's received just pages of recognition, and I'll just highlight a few of them. Accomplishment Emeritus Service Medal, the Surgeon General's Medallion, the Surgeon General's Exemplary Service Medal, Outstanding Service Medal. He was PHS Pharmacist of the Year. He probably hates listening to all this. And then 2 exceptional capability proficiency promotions. You have to just suffer through this. Anyway, he has multiple service awards. He was 2016, he was a COA Health Leader of the Year. And that award is for those who have achieved prominence in public health, demonstrating leadership and excellence, and making notable contributions into the health of the nation. He's been recognized by the University of Pittsburgh as a Legacy Laureate and as a University of Alumni Birmingham School of Public Health Distinguished Alumni. He has more than 10 deployments and numerous short tours and TDYs and international site visits. So he's been to, you went Crown, you just did a lot of like short tours all over the nation whenever the need was. So he just has a wealth of experience being everywhere. And he also is an active member in all the associations, and he was the inaugural member at large of the Pharmacy Special Interest Group for the American Public Health Association. So now I'll get to some of his other personal life information. He's known for his enthusiastic involvement in outdoor activities. He's a volunteer kayak instructor. He rock climbs. He's a volunteer for the high school swim team. He's helped to do trail maintenance work for state and national parks, and is a regular volunteer for the Boys and Girls Club. And as you know, he's married to his wonderful family, and they're all very active and adventurous too. So his favorite things are rock climbing, kayaking, hiking, snowboarding, and mountain biking. And he's also just been a volunteer, and he's just well loved by everyone. I've actually never met anyone that doesn't smile when they hear his name. Now, I did reach out, and he has a cousin. You're going to not like this probably. He has a cousin named Eric Plazinski. And
His parents are over there, be careful.
What?
His parents are right there, be careful.
Oh, there's Hi. I worked with Eric, by the way. Eric and I were at Tuba City together. It is such a small world, our circle of people that we know. So anyway, Eric is he's also a commissioned officer, and he works at Dulce in New Mexico, and he wishes he could be here. But what he wanted to do, I have one bad story that you probably won't want to hear, but the other two. And what happens is that Eric says, well, I asked him to share a few words, and what he said was, Rob is super connected. And this is an example of how connected he is. And if it's true, you need somebody, you talk to Rob, he's got a connection somewhere. He's got friends in high places, like all over the place. So anyway, one connection was when, I guess you guys went and were partying at University of Pittsburgh, where you both
It's time.
went to college. And I guess there's this Cathedral of Learning, which is this 42-story Gothic cathedral. Has anybody seen that there at University of Pittsburgh? Well, anyway, nobody ever gets to go hang out at the top. There's only it's like a really precious place to go. And only, it's like the alumni, nobody ever gets to go up there. Only 2 people have keys to the place. But guess who got up there? This guy right here. He's got connections to get up there. And Eric just could not believe that he hung around with this guy and was able to get up there on top. It was very memorable for him. Another one that he, attribute or characteristic is that this guy is super tough. Most of you know he does a lot of outdoor work, but this is one story that just blows your mind. In fact, if you go hang out and visit with them, they're some of the best people to listen to stories. They have stories that are just unbelievable. You should write a book one day about all these stories that he has, but some of them are a little bit scary. This is one of them. So I guess you guys went and climbed Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Do you remember that? Does anybody know this story about Devil's Tower? Well, they went and they spent all day, and it was one of Eric's best days ever to climb to the top of Devil's Tower. And then when they started to rappel off, the big thunderstorms were coming through there, and they had to rappel down Devil's Tower. Basically, it was a big, long day, wasn't it? 16-hour day. So anyway, they lived to tell about it. Another one is how tough he is that you've climbed a couple peaks with Eric over 14ers. How many other peaks have you done over 14?
Probably 4.
Four peaks, 14. But one of them, he mentioned that his knee was hurting, but it didn't slow him down at all. And then when he got home, he went to the doctor and had torn ligaments in his knee and needed immediate surgery. So he just toughed it right through, gutted it right out. Then the next time they went and did a 14er together, he was barely off crutches from another knee surgery. And he climbed to the highest point in Colorado, and he did it without complaining at all. So it was very impressive.
I can say no right now.
And then this is probably one where this is about his judgment. I'm going to say his judgment wasn't so great probably on this one, but he took his 13-year-old cousin, Eric. They went to New Orleans. And they
Yeah,
just
just stop now.
Mistakes were made. I won't embarrass you and say what they did, but anyway, needless to say, they survived it. And
Was
you'll
there a
have
park
to.
bench involved?
There's a park bench, is sleeping on the park bench. It's sneaking him into jazz bars and drinking all night.
No.
So probably don't never get that. So anyway, I won't go any further than that. We'll just leave it there. But anyway, the bottom line is This guy has a ton of adventures. He's really fun to hang out with. I could sit and visit with him all day long, both, and Christy too. They're both just wonderful people, wonderful family members, and I'm just so happy for them that this is really the start of a second chapter of just more adventures, and I'm looking forward to when our paths cross. So anyway, the United States Public Health Service really has this really rich history, and we have the most amazing officers in it, and you are the epitome, the best officer that we are so proud to have served with. And the impact you've made in your career is going to live on forever. So congratulations to you.
That post since January of 2017. Prior to this assignment, he served as the professor and chair of the Department of Preventive Medicine and Biostatistics and professor of dermatology at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences. As many of you know, he was the U.S. Deputy Surgeon General from November 2010 to September 2015 and served as Acting Surgeon General from July 2013 to December 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rear Admiral Boris Lushniak.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. I always say that things have changed. I used to give these speeches for a variety of ceremonies, and some I really liked. Right? I really liked our officer basic course ceremonies, right? The graduation, right? Some of the officers here, perhaps I spoke at your graduations during those 5 years that I was within the office of the Surgeon General. And for me, the beauty of that was it was a beginning. It was young people coming to the Commissioned Corps, a uniformed service that I truly loved. And I was just giddy with this opportunity of welcoming them and then setting them off into this adventure. Certainly, ceremonies of increasing one's rank, right? The idea of going from those lowly 2 to 2.5 stripes at some point, those were always fun too, because the sense was that was always filled with joy. And the joy was based upon an officer being selected for promotion. It was based on the fact that everybody secretly knew that a paycheck was coming that was larger than the paycheck before. And there was joy in the room. The ceremony that I really disliked the most was this one. There were another ceremony where we say goodbye to officers for their lives on this planet, but I won't go into that. But amongst the standard ceremonies, this is the one I disliked. And part of it was because I misinterpreted it. Part of it was the sense that I always thought that this was a goodbye to someone. And each and every time that I presided over a retirement ceremony, I would sit there, and maybe this was part of the psyche of sort of negativity that I had. I would sit there and think, how many more of these until I'm the guy sitting up there? How many more of these? Because I can only take so many readings of the watch without having tears in my eyes. And someday it's going to be me. And today is not about me, but I need to share with you that my reflection on this ceremony suddenly changed because at one point I was sitting there as the honoree. And it was then that there was a revelation. It was then that the sense was that this ceremony is not really an end. Right? It's akin to a commencement ceremony that all of us have been through in our academic careers. And I'm so glad that you looked up the word invocation, because the word commencement, right, it's a Latin derivative, and it means a beginning. A beginning. And so if I interplay the concept here of this not being a retirement ceremony, but in essence a commencement ceremony, having attained an incredible career, It is now to time, much like many who have been there before, right, Admiral? It's the beginning of something brand new. And I dare say, whether you've already served our nation in uniform or currently serve our nation in uniform, or even if you haven't served in uniform, but all of us have had beginnings and ends. And all of us know that that beginning component is actually the excitement of that next phase. So Rob and I have known each other for a long time. But we probably got most together on things back in 2010 with my entry in to be the Deputy U.S. Surgeon General. And in fact, it was both of these guys that were there. When I heard that Greg Davis was the MC today, I started shuddering. It was scary. But then there was a relief. Why? Because I knew, much like through most of my adult career, I never made a move until Greg said, do this. As an MC, I realized I don't have to prepare tonight because Greg's just going to tell me what to do, and he's always already been in that role. But at the same time, I got to know Rob. And Rob, at that point, was embedded within the office of the U.S. Surgeon General and was already doing great things with the Medical Reserve Corps. This was, in fact, a light within that office. We had a lot going on, some great stuff, some not so great stuff. You guys know the truth. And sometimes I'll say, you can't handle the truth, but these guys handle it. I wasn't pointing. It was a generic point. But in the midst of that, what I discovered within Rob, and the beauty of Rob, was his passion. It was his dedication to the mission. First and foremost, as an officer. I love the fact that I can openly say that I love the Commissioned Corps of the U.S. Public Health Service. I loved it, and I love it now. It was great to find others who love the Corps. Not everybody loves the Corps. We, in fact, existed in a realm, in an environment in the Office of the Surgeon General that we can talk about over a beer later. But this was a difficult environment. But his passion allowed him to function. His passion and love allowed him to do what was right. Even though I know the truth, and the truth was barricades were thrown in front of him on more than one occasion. We're not here to reflect on the bad things, but I have to let you know that in that career path, this isn't always easy. And Rob always came through as that stellar officer, as the guy with the attitude, with that passion and with that love to allow him to function, that allowed him to do well in that realm. He was a fighter against all odds at times. And the fighter sometimes just for the sense of being right. I mean, silly things, right? Rob decided, because he was an enthusiast of physical activity, we know about his adventures, decided to put in a walking desk in his office. And then the evil side, and the evil existed out there, basically said, you can't do this. This is against some sort of code. So here's a guy who's trying to actually bring in stuff into the office and is thrown asunder. We spent a lot of... It's in the basement. They never really took off those walking desks anyhow. But he was there. He was trying. So the sense of his ability to fight, his ability to have this passion and this love for the mission, right? For those 5 years, I spent a lot of time with the Medical Reserve Corps. It was great going to their big meetings. And these were huge meetings. Rob would always kindly ask me to say a few words at those meetings. The reality was, it started at 40, and it ended up with 1,000. right? He would come to report to the Deputy Surgeon General and to the U.S. Surgeon General and talk about, and his charts were always great because it showed growth. And it wasn't growth just for the sake of what Rob and his team were doing. It was growth that we were infiltrating our communities across the country to be prepared for times of emergency, to do incredible things, but also to be our public health auxiliary. That's how we treated them. They were embedded within the office of the Surgeon General. They loved this idea that the Surgeon General was heading them up and that Rob was their leader. At these meetings, these conferences, you would feel the love between these 1,000 units and Rob. You would see it. You would feel it. Now, his true blessing today is what? Is that we all want to have that feeling. And he had it and continues to have it. Now, I don't know many of you. Christy, we've met a few times. Sebastian, I am so glad you are serving our nation in uniform and taking on that mantle of responsibility. The other kids who can't be here today, the parents-in-law and others who are here, you're an integral part of this event. And most retirees will say, it's not about them, it's about you. And I strongly believe that. You were part of the team that was also loved. He was always on the forefront. He was the guy deployed. He was the guy at the conferences. But you were there supporting him. And in your way, going into harm's way. And you're in your way, you have to know, also loved by the people who love Rob. Again, I don't know many people here. The beauty of an event like this is what? The beauty of an event is we are all connected, right? Have we ever met, you and I? No. But today, there's a line that's drawn to Rob, to me, to you. So let's celebrate this tonight, right? Let's celebrate this beginning. It's not an end. We always used to say in the Commissioned Corps that it was not the word retirement. In essence, the concept of a retiree in the Commissioned Corps, and Admiral, you're amongst that group, and now I'm in that group. We're just awaiting orders. We're just awaiting orders because we still continue to serve. And that's the last component I want to talk about is his service nature. Right? We call ourselves the Public Health Service. How cool that we have the word service embedded in there. Rob gave it all to serve others. 1988 as a co-staff, that was the year I got commissioned as an officer. He and I came in at the same time. And it was truly my honor to be serving side by side with you for many of those years. It was great to experience the happiness and joy of success. And you know the number of times we sat in our offices trying to figure out how we're going to pull ourselves out of another doozy. But it was all based upon service. It wasn't our egos getting in the way. It wasn't us to be able to attain something. It was the idea of service. Now, one of the key supporters of Rob, who wishes he were here today, sent a letter. I'm going to read the full text of this letter because why? We all feel an allegiance to this man. And at the same time, I'm still deathly afraid of him. So sent the letter and didn't send it in, or I didn't read it. Dear Captain Tosatto, dated June 20th, 2017, congratulations on a stellar and exceptional career in the United States Public Health Service. It has been my pleasure and privilege to know you and serve with you. Throughout your exemplary career, you have been a role model through your uniform presence, leadership, physical fitness, selfless service, and dedication to duty. No assignment was too small or too large, and all were completed professionally and well above expectations. In fact, when the President of the United States assigned me and the Corps to start a national community volunteer emergency response program with little budget and huge expectations, it was you that Rear Admiral John Babb and I chose to command this near impossible assignment. No other branch of government was interested in what appeared to be a great aspect aspiration, but not sustainable. Rear Admiral Babb and I had every confidence in your leadership to make this startup a success. In our first conversations, I remember saying to you that we'll know we have been successful when other government agencies and organizations want to take over our Commissioned Corps' national asset. Today, almost a decade and a half later, the Medical Reserve Corps has nearly 200,000 volunteers nationwide and nearly 1,000 national MRC units that cover over 90% of the United States and its territories. Captain Tosatto, you not only accomplished the impossible mission, you exceeded every possible expectation, including that of the President of the United States. In addition, as predicted, once successful, there were several attempts over the years to relocate the MRC, but unfortunately fortunately, sorry. You've been the founder and the only leader of the Medical Reserve Corps during its existence. This is an enviable but well-deserved legacy that is a testament to your leadership and dedication to duty. Your successor will be humbled, Skip, where are you? And challenged by what you have accomplished. As much as I am extremely proud of your leadership and all your career accomplishments, I am saddened to see you leave because your Corps needs you now more than ever. He's sad. It's a new beginning. Don't worry about it. I never said that because he's going to get back at me. In closing, I wish you fair winds and following seas as you go off into the sunset. Please accept my Surgeon General coin as a small token of my appreciation. Most sincerely, Richard H. Carbona, 17th Surgeon General of the United States. So it's great to see that service recognized by others. We have a handful of senior officers here, retired and others, right, who on a Saturday night showed up to honor you. I, of course, expected that we were playing golf today. And I showed up in my golf clothes. However, I didn't even see a single windmill because my golf was quite limited. I expected that we were going to be there. The sense is you are honored tonight by those in this room. You are honored by those not in this room who have this perspective of your career path. And now, July 22nd, you get into a big vehicle and start driving. The adventure continues, and we'll all live vicariously through you. I'll finish with a quote that's become my latest favorite quote. It's by the Indian poet Tagore. And it really reflects on what you have brought to the table, what you yourself have seen. What Tagore said was, I slept and I dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and I saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. Thank you so much for bringing joy to our lives.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to invite Commander Skip Payne up to the podium, please. And Rob, if you could stay.
It's my privilege to read a letter of commendation to Captain Robert Tosatto, United States Public Health Service. And it reads, on behalf of the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of the Secretary, the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response, recognizes Captain Robert Tosatto, United States Public Health Service, for exceptional leadership, extraordinary vision, and exemplary performance in carrying out the mission to lead the country in preparing for, responding to, and recovering from the adverse health effects of emergencies and disasters by supporting our community's ability to withstand adversity, strengthening our health and response systems, and enhancing national health security from January 2015 to August 2017. While serving as the Director of the Medical Reserve Corps, Captain Robert Tosatto distinguished himself through unparalleled leadership and vision, which resulted in the development of over 990 community-based Medical Reserve Corps units, and over 200,000 medical and public health volunteers located throughout the United States and its territories, who have strengthened their communities' public health, improved emergency response capabilities, and enhanced community resiliency. Through Captain Tosatto's efforts, diligence, and dedication, the Medical Reserve Corps program has greatly improved our nation's ability to coordinate between volunteer agencies, to further augment the United States Public Health Service Commissioned Corps officers and civilian staff's expertise, and to build a youth pipeline into federal health service and advance the future health of our nation. Signed, Acting Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response, Dr. George W. Kortz, Jr., 3 July 2017.
Lieutenant Commander Hager, if you could join me at the podium, please.
Thank you. As a tribute, Captain Tosatto, on behalf of your fellow officers, we present you with these two flags. The National Ensign was flown over the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. The other is the service flag of the United States Public Health Service, under which you've served diligently and honorably for the past 29 years.
As a tribute to Captain Tosatto, 2 former junior co-steps under his guidance will honor our sea service heritage by delivering the poem, The Watch. Please welcome Lieutenant Trey Droud, a pharmacy officer with the Bureau of Prisons at Federal Correction Complex Petersburg and Hopewell, Virginia, and Lieutenant Sophia Yang, a pharmacy officer with the Indian Health Service.
For 29 years, this PHS officer has stood the watch.
While some of us were in our beds at night, this PHS officer stood the watch.
While some of us were at school or work, this PHS officer stood the watch.
Even before some of us were born into this world, this PHS officer stood the watch.
When the storm clouds of war were brewing, this PHS officer stood the watch.
Many times, this sailor would cast an eye ashore to see his family standing there, needing his guidance and help, but he still stood the watch.
This PHS officer stood the watch for 29 years, so that all Americans could sleep safely each and every night. Secure because this sailor stood the watch. Today we are here to pay our respects, as it is said for the final time.
Captain Tosatto, you stand relieved.
Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. Captain Tosatto, you stand relieved of duty. We have the watch.
Admiral Lishniak, would you join me at the podium, please? Captain Tosatto, please return to center stage. Attention on deck. By the order of the Assistant Secretary for Health and the Surgeon General of the United States, the following officer is hereby retired with the rank of Captain in the Commissioned Corps of the United States Public Health Service.
Rob Tosatto, you are hereby retired from our beloved Commissioned Corps of the United States Public Health Service. Continue to do great things.
Yeah, sir.
Please seat it.
Next, I would like to welcome Captain Paul Reed to the podium to present a tribute to Christy Tosatto. Paul sent me a brief bio, but you know Paul, like Boston University, and pediatrics, and O4D, and MRC, and blah, blah, blah.
That from the guy who my wife lovingly calls my deployment spouse. I'm going to put this down, if you don't mind.
Please.
So enough about Rob. Something else happened nearly a quarter of a century ago. In fact, just over a quarter of a century ago. To the point, 25 years ago to the day, last Monday, Rob and Christy got married. I think that deserves a round of applause. And how poignant for a quarter-century career being matched by a quarter-century of marriage. Because I don't think the one could have happened without the other. I'm pretty sure you agree with that, right? And I don't need to answer Chris. I've known the two of them for quite a while. I can't remember how long. I can't remember the exact date, but I sure as heck remember the moment I met one of them. And it wasn't Rob, it was Christy I met for the first time. I'm a pediatrician, for those of you who don't know me. And I was sitting in my office one morning, typical of every morning, doing the administrative stuff before anticipating my patients coming in. And then there's a flurry of activity, and one thing leads to another. And one of my administrators comes to me and says, there's a woman at the desk who wants to talk to a pediatrician. I said, okay, great. You know, this is a very familiar thing, right? It happens to pediatricians every day. She wasn't on the schedule. She didn't have an appointment. Didn't make an appointment, did you? But this woman was adamant about talking to a pediatrician about adoption, about international adoption. And I happened to be the guy at the time who was familiar with that. I, in fact, adopted a son internationally myself. So I said, by all means, send her in. And in between the other things, I was sitting there, and Christy burst in the door in the way Christy only could. For those of you who know Christy, you'll understand what I mean. Vivacious, yes? Yeah. Adamant, quite. Friendly, with a smile that just lit up the room. And she popped herself down and she just let into me. But she had an agenda. She had a mission. And that mission was to be responsive to this own sense of service that she was overwhelmed with at the time. I remember that day so vividly. She was so enthusiastic and so adamant about having to find out how the right way to do this thing, internationally adopt children, because she was just compelled. She said to me that the night before she'd been reading an article, I think it was, in Reader's Digest. I had that right in my mind. And she threw it at Rob and said, we're doing this thing. And the article was about the plight of orphan children in East Africa. She said, we got to do this thing. Now, mind you, they had 2 kids of their own. One of them sitting before you, a striking gentleman. And she said, I need to do this. My husband and I need to do this. We're going to do this. We need help. And so I did what I could to offer some help. Now, everything I've known since that date of both Christy and Rob suggests that that was an exemplary moment of their life as individuals in service and their lives as a couple. Everything I've known about them supports that. And I would bet if any of you had the opportunity to speak up here and anecdotally about your experiences with them, you'd say the same thing. I'm not going to jump up and down like the Admiral, by the way. But I hope you can sense from my heart just how much I value who these 2 people are. You know, anecdotally, we talk about our spouses in retirement ceremonies all the time, but in brief snippets. There's a tacit nod, a few remarks, an allusion made in this speech or that. But in this particular retirement, of all the ones I've been to, say maybe the Admirals. The team Tosatto has to be held up. It has to be. It can't be just about Rob. And Lord knows I love and respect Rob. As the officer he is and the man that he is and everything else. But Team Tosatto really has to be elevated, and half of Team Tosatto is sitting right there. I'm envious as hell of the two of you starting in a couple of weeks. By the way, they stole my wife's and my plans for a retirement. We've been talking about the same exact phenomenon, getting in a trailer, or getting in a truck with a trailer and hightailing it out of here. So we're right behind you at some point. I'm not sure when that day's coming, but it's coming. In the meantime, like it was said earlier, we're going to live vicariously through you both. Now, I'm going to give you one last anecdote about Christy, because I can't help but share this one, because this one just dates back to about 2 weeks ago. My family and I are down in Florida on vacation, and we're in Disney World, and she was with Rob at a meeting of HOSA, which we have to talk about HOSA at some point. And Christy gets a hold of Shannon and says, hey, can I meet up with you guys? And she just wanted to play. She wanted to play. So she came and played with us. And I wish to goodness I had brought the photograph that I got, I cannot wait to share it with you, of her careening down this roller coaster with my 4 kids. Hair buck wild, hands in the air, mouth agape, looking all the more enthusiastic and fun-loving as any one of my 4 children. Alex actually looked scared to death. Yet another testament to who Christy is, and yet another exemplary depiction of their life together as a couple. Careening down a hill with your hair buck wild, screaming your head off. Love you guys. Thank you so much for offering me the opportunity to talk about it. All right, thank you. Please go for it.
I would now like to welcome Ms. Carla Mitchell to the podium to present a tribute to Captain Tosatto on behalf of the Medical Reserve Corps Regional Liaisons.
Hey Rob, it's Jennifer. Sorry I can't be there with you this weekend. I wish you all the best. It's been since October 2004 that we were introduced to each other in New Hampshire, and since then you've led the Red Sox to 3 world championships. May you always have fun in your strategic plan as you move on into the future. And when you get to New England, I've got one of these waiting for you. Congratulations, sir. And I tip my hat to you.
Hi, Rob. I'm sorry I'm not able to make it today. It sounds like it's a great and worthy celebration. I wanted to wish you virtually a fantastic retirement, and thank you for your leadership over the past many years. It's been a fantastic, wonderful, fun run here with you in the MRC, and you will be greatly missed. Enjoy the day.
Hello, Captain Tosatto. This is Melissa from the Windy City, aka Chicago. I'm sorry I was not able to attend your retirement ceremony, but I like to think I'm there in spirit. I also want you to think that you're standing here next to me as I'm walking. One thing that you've always promoted is just moving more and being more active and trying to get 10,000 steps in a day. I'm not always at 10,000 steps, but I am improving. I feel like that's what matters. I do want to thank you for all that you've done for the program. I always feel like you have the program's best interest in heart, and you lead with your heart as well as with your intellect. I also want to thank Christy, because behind every strong man, there's a stronger woman. So thank you, Christy. With that note, I don't want to say goodbye. I just want to say hello to new opportunities. Hello.
Hey, Rob. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. And thank you for all you've done for the MRC network and for me throughout the years. I remember meeting you in 2009 in Northern Virginia when we vaccinated Secretary Sebelius during a pandemic flu exercise there. And when I met you, I saw a humble man, a man who rolled up his sleeves, got in there, paved the way, showed the MRC volunteers the encouragement, the inspiration, and the passion for the MRC program. Rob, you lit my torch with the passion for MRC, and I have carried that torch throughout my entire MRC career. And I am proud to say that you were a fantastic leader and a mentor to me and so many. And I just want to say I wish you well on your retirement, and I hope that you have safe travels. Carpe diem.
Hi, Captain Tosatto. I wish I could be there to wish you congratulations in person and give you a big hug. Joining your MRC family back in 2011 was one of the best decisions I've made professionally, and so much of that has to do with you. You exemplify how a leader should lead, how to treat people in and out of the office, how to have fun, and how the workplace can also be your family. And I just wanted you to know that the legacy you leave behind with the MRC program is not the only testament to your success. It also lies with the people that you have touched along the way and who has a piece of you in your professionalism, in your dedication, and in the integrity you carry. You have taught each of us something that we will forever remember, and I thank you for that. And so I just wanted to wish you and Christy a lot of fun and much adventures in the years to come. I hope to see you guys soon, and I wish you all the best. Take care.
Hi, Rob. Thank you so much for your vision for MRC. This network had no personality, it had no character and no plans for what it would grow to become until you came along and began to encourage unit leaders to join hands and share information and cheer for the same team. And you built a culture of rallying, encouraging one another, and stepping in with resources when the going got tough. It's been my great honor to have a hand in shaping a local team that had not just the local name on it, but was a part of that national network that you were trying so desperately to build. And in Region 6, where I now serve as the regional liaison, it seems like we've had more than our fair share of disasters. And each one has taught us something. It's taught us more about ourselves, more about our communities, and about the people that serve right alongside of us. I'm so blessed to have known you throughout all of those phases, and first from further away, and now from a little closer up. Throughout each of those phases, you've proven to be someone that I could respect, someone that had incredible integrity and character, things that I hold very high in esteem. Thank you for your years of dedication and your focus, and thank you for dreaming about all of the people that wanted to be a part of their communities, helping and serving, and trying to figure out ways to do it better. Biggest blessings to you on your coming adventures, and we can't wait to hear what you and Christy are up to. I hope that you will carry with you the memory of all that we've been able to accomplish, but I also hope that you'll remember that you've had great impact on this nation and on this girl right here. Biggest blessings.
Hi, Rob. Congratulations on your retirement. While I was on vacation last week, I saw the vehicle you should have bought instead of your pickup. A vehicle so amazingly iconic that your co-workers would still think you own it 10 years after selling it. What vehicle might that be? The Ford E150 12-passenger kidnapper van, of course. Perfect for MRC staffs everywhere. Rob, in all seriousness, thank you very much for your inspirational leadership, for always leading by example, for letting me run with my ideas and always supporting me, for the trust you put in all your team and the integrity you always demonstrated, and for always emphasizing fun as a core value of the MRC program. Thanks for being a great boss and a great friend, and if your travels take you to the Kansas City area, let me know and we'll go get barbecue. Have a great time in your new adventure called retirement. Take care, my friend.
Hi, Rob. It's difficult to encapsulate what it's meant to work with you for the last almost 13 years, especially on something as important, meaningful, and powerful as the Medical Reserve Corps and its network. Now hundreds of thousands of volunteers. I wanted to come somewhere special to film this video. I'm in Golden, Colorado, home of Coors Brewing, and I hiked North Table Mountain, where there is some really great rock climbing. I know that's your happy place. Thank you for your leadership, your friendship, your mentorship, and for showing me how to be the change that I wish to see in the world. I wish you and Christy many awesome adventures ahead, and please remember us if you get bored of being retired, because you know that we can always use another really great volunteer. Take extra good care of yourself, and namaste.
Yeah, have you been there? Resort? I want to go to France. I want to go to France.
You decided you don't want to go Hawaii now, and now it's France?
I never wanted. I always said no because there could be tsunami.
There's a Disneyland in Paris. Is there really?
I went to Paris, but it was like 2 hours away
From where the resort was? What do you think of Paris? Is it cool?
I really like
These moments brought to you
How'd they talk?
by Rob Tosatto, leading through family values. You know how I feel. Hi, Rob. It has truly been an honor to work with the MRC under your leadership and guidance for the past 10 years. You've inspired me both personally and professionally more than you'll ever know. You're strong yet not rude, humble yet not weak, bold and courageous yet not a bully, proud yet not arrogant. You have tactful humor, you're disciplined, thoughtful, and considerate. We are a more prepared and resilient nation due to your vision. I can go on and on, but time is of the essence. In closing, I'll leave you with this quote by Walter Lippmann. The final test of a leader is that he leaves behind him, in man or woman, the conviction and will to carry on. It won't be emotionally easy to go forth without you, but you've definitely equipped us and willed us to keep the torch burning. Eternally grateful to sit at your feet. Love always.
Action.
Hello, I'm Ruben. Rob, you are the best, Rob. Happy retirement.
Captain Rob Tosatto. A few words come to mind when I think about Rob. Let's see, mentor, innovator, visionary, work-life balance, and friend. Sad to see that you are leaving the Commissioned Corps, but really excited for you and your retirement and all the exciting things you have in store for the future. So pleased that I've had the opportunity to work alongside you, for you, and now I will continue to look to you for guidance, not just in my career, but in my personal life. You're a true friend and mentor. So wishing you, Christy, and the rest of your family the best. on kind of your journey and next steps. And, best of luck and thanks for everything.
Hi, Rob. Hello from Madison, Alabama. I heard that you're retiring, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Best wishes in your future endeavors, and if you ever get this way, look me up. Say bye. Say bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
Hi Rob, I just wanted to say that I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to work with you over the past 5 to 10 years. I know you're going to hear a lot of really great things in this video, and I just want to be the person to tell you that they're all true. You are such a kind person, such a compassionate person, such a caring person. Not only in your personal life, but in your professional life as well. And I really don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the MRC program really truly would not be what it is today if you had not been the leader at the helm of it. I think it's only through the type of person you are that the program is as successful as it is today. And truly, I don't think you will ever really be able to appreciate or understand how much value you have to not only the MRC unit leaders around the country and the MRC volunteers and the MRC program staff and the regional coordinators and state coordinators, but to all your friends and family as well. I wish you nothing but the best in retirement. I hope that you are able to relax and enjoy your time. And if you're ever in Kansas, please feel free to stop by. I'd be happy to hang out, and I would love to chat and see you again.
Hi Rob, this is Kathy. Wanted to wish you so many words of congratulations on your retirement. Thank you so much for being the leader that you have been to all of the regional coordinators, for your passion, your commitment, and your understanding. You're a great leader because of what's in your heart, and I appreciate that so much. Recently I went past the sign at a hospice center that said, make your heart happy. So that's my wishes for you. Thank you.
I'm on camera.
Those videos are made me smile a lot. Christy and I, about 2 weeks ago, we were asked to do a short video clip for a relative who was having relatives who were having their 50th wedding anniversary, and it took us 45 minutes to do a 30-second clip because we couldn't keep a straight face doing it. So the fact that they were able to do that is amazing to both me and Christy, and I'm being nice because we have the outtakes. We may show you later. But I want to thank you all for being here and for just being such a big part of my life. I want to thank the team that put together this ceremony tonight. I didn't expect so much, and I know you were commanded to do differently. But thank you, really, because I have learned so much from each and every one of you over the years. So this is the end of a chapter of a long chapter in my life with my career in the public health service. I first put on uniform, that guy in that picture by the cake, at 17. So 34 years ago. Now granted, that first uniform was a U.S. Coast Guard uniform. I was at the Coast Guard Academy, and that didn't work out. So very luckily, it was a mutual parting. I was talking to my counselor, my advisor there, and he's like, so, cadet, what do you want to do with your Coast Guard career? And I said, I think I want a healthcare career. He was very silent and looking and said, Coast Guard doesn't have health positions. I said, oh, yeah, okay. So I lasted another year and decided that, a health career was more the thing. And I was very lucky to have found the Public Health Service Commission Corps. In 1987, I found out about it. I was on a cross-country road trip with my dad and Eric. Sorry, I'll talk later. And fell in love with the Southwest. And I came back to pharmacy school and I asked all around, like, are there internships out in the Four Corners region? And everybody I talked to said, no, we're in Pittsburgh. Why would we know about that? And then one day at lunch, one of my fellow students said, Rob, is this what you're talking about? And he threw this little throwaway pharmacy, magazine at me, and there was an ad for the Indian Health Service, and it said, come join the Indian Health Service. And so I wrote a letter because the internet didn't exist then. I wrote a letter, and somehow probably Dr. Church got it and said, who's this, crazy guy writing a letter about, internships with the IHS? But I was selected to do a student rotation, and I never looked back. So. But I have to look back because this is kind of the end of that. So I don't know if these were my career goals all along, but I think they've evolved. And I'm probably one of the luckiest people to have achieved pretty much all my career goals. To have a simple and balanced life. To learn a lot. To be grateful. To have fun. And yes, we did put fun in as our official values, and Admiral Babb made me take it out. Rob, I don't think it's appropriate to have fun in a government organization. So we kept it in there in parentheses, and anytime he wasn't in the room, we did use it. And my last goal is to do good. And I really feel blessed to have really achieved all of those in a variety of ways. So you've heard enough about me tonight. When I was thinking about what to talk about, I was like, okay, I can talk about the lessons learned. I can share some stories of fun things I've done throughout my career and the great people. But no, this has to stop being about me. This is really about all of you, my colleagues all around the nation, all around the world. And I actually, and I told Kristen, I said, I think I'm going to have a story for each person here. I'm going to talk about how meaningful they are to me and a story about what I've learned. And then I thought, oh God, that's going to be way too long. So just know that each one of you has a story. And if you want to ask me later what it was, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to share. And then also I thought, okay, there's inevitably going to be somebody I miss, and that's going to be horrible, and I'll feel really awkward and bad about that. So I'm not going to do that, but indulge me for a moment. Think about a time that we did something together. Anything. We worked together, we argued, we learned something. You taught me something, I taught you something. And just think for a moment about that and how you felt then, when that incident was, and kind of how you feel now. Because I've been doing that a lot over the last couple of months. I've been thinking a lot about all of you, about my colleagues, nationwide, and thinking of all those connections and all those instances. And just as I talk for the next few minutes, see if what I'm saying, if you can kind of connect with what you were just thinking about. So to my mentors, You've guided me, and you've advised me, and you've pushed me, and you've encouraged me, and you've kicked me in the butt when I needed it. And you've given me opportunities that I never would have had, and you've given me autonomy. And I don't know that there's a more important thing as somebody is progressing their career than to have that autonomy and ownership and the ability to become a master at what they do. To my colleagues, you have taught me so much about leadership and officership, about health and public health and emergency management. Anything about emergency management, before I started this. You've taught me about strategic thinking and partnerships and relationships. To my family and friends, you've supported me and Christy through some of our numerous crazy decisions. You've been there to kind of show us that there is joy and happiness even in trying times, and there's joy and happiness at all times. You've taught me about the value of long-standing friendships. You've showed us great examples of strong marriages and hands-on parenting. Showed me about leaving my comfort zone and hugging waterfalls. To my MRC family, you've just heard from some of them, you've heard from others. It has been an honor to watch you lead this MRC network, to see the way we have put together a blended team of feds and contractors and NACCHO staff and state officials and local leaders and volunteers all coming together. We're all over the place, but we're coming together for a common mission and achieving that and succeeding, again, beyond anybody's wildest expectations. You have been inspirational and aspirational, and it's just been a absolute pleasure to behold. Now, I'm not uncomfortable leaving because I know that this organization is in very capable hands. You are amazing leaders, and if I were to leave and something fell apart with the MRC, I would not have done my job, because my job is to create this organization, to put in place and instill the leadership that all of you have taken on so that it succeeds, so that it will continue to sustain. Now, it has to have some political will, and hopefully that will be there. But I know if that is there from outside, that the strength within the MRC is there to see it continue to be successful and grow and evolve. All right. So, Paul, you summed it up. This isn't about me, because we are. And so we talked a little bit, or it was talked about passion, but here's my true passion, my partner in adventure. So it's it'll be interesting to see what this next chapter holds. So what does the next chapter hold? Well, my goals aren't going to change. I told you what my goals were for my career. Well, those are my goals for life too. It's just we're going to achieve them a little bit differently. So, we're going to have this simple and balanced life, but we're going to be on the road. And it may get complex a little times, but